happy Friday, Manitoba. It is August 15th. We're halfway through the month of August already, and Ainsley McPhail is continuing her journey. Her last stop for Folklorama this week. She is visiting the Brazilian pavilion. We're going to find out, of course, the food, the dance, the vibe, and what's happening there. But first, your headlines. For years, Ashley Shingoose remained unidentified. Now her jacket has been returned, and a search of Brady landfill will begin later this year. Air Canada flight attendants could walk off the job as soon as tomorrow. Hundreds of flights are already being cancelled, and the airline is warning of a possible full shutdown. And a high-profile summit in Alaska today. President Trump to meet Vladimir Putin as world leaders watch closely for any breakthrough on Ukraine. Let's bring in Terry now. It was another gorgeous evening last night, Terry. I'm loving it.
Well, unless you were in the path of those storms. Did you get the watches, warnings? Oh.
We didn't get anything last night, in my region anyway. And then the Bombers won last night, so it was kind of a nice evening.
What a great night. Yeah, yes. No, there were some places, certainly, that were in the path of some storms. And then, of course, we had some of those warnings and watches ringing out over our phones at times. So 12 degrees right now, west-southwest winds, 13 clicks, the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 89%. Things have calmed down considerably from the activity of yesterday evening. And once again, nothing to show you here. No smoke, no storms, really nothing going on. What a great way to be kicking off the Friday morning, just easing on into the weekend with some gorgeous weather ahead. Now, not everybody is going to get that gorgeous weather. I've talked before about how the precipitation doesn't read on the satellite image through northern Manitoba. So all you can see right now are the clouds. We don't even have those here in the south. It's very clear for us to start out to begin the day anyway. There you can see northern Manitoba still dealing with rain, another round of it likely pretty much through the day, or at least taking you into the afternoon. Southern Manitoba, central Manitoba, sunnier conditions for us. We'll see just a few clouds moving through overnight. If you're right along that very southern border, you might see a brief shower or two in the overnight hours. But then throughout Saturday, even those clouds, they're clearing out again, and even northern Manitoba clears out nicely. Some sunshine, things can begin to dry up after it will be 2 days of rain across northern Manitoba, and another one still probably to move in later on into the weekend. So Sunday things could get active across northern Manitoba once again. Here in the south, not a lot of activity to show you, nothing but sunshine. We will notice those temperatures on the rise again. A little bit on the cooler side to kick off the weekend, then we're back to seasonal and above.
Thanks, Terry. For years, she was known only as Buffalo Woman, the unidentified victim of a convicted serial killer. But now the family of Ashley Shingoose can begin to heal as the province confirms a search of Brady landfill will begin later this year. As CTV's Danton Unger shows you, the jacket Ashley was wearing when she was last seen has now been returned to the family.
It was a moment Albert and Teresa Shingoose have been waiting months for.
I think it is a start of healing for both of us.
On Wednesday, Winnipeg police gave the Shingoose family the jacket their daughter Ashley Shingoose had been wearing when she disappeared.
To get Ashley's jacket back, it's very overwhelming.
Earlier this year, Ashley was identified as one of the 4 victims killed by convicted serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky in 2022. Up until then, Ashley remained unidentified, given the name Mashkodi Bezekwi, or Buffalo Woman. This distinctive jacket was a major piece of evidence Winnipeg police relied on while trying to identify her, releasing photos to the public in hopes it would lead to tips. Ashley's father, Albert, says since Skibitsky's trial wrapped up, he's been trying to bring the jacket home.
Finally, we have it.
And with it, the Shingoose family says, comes a measure of healing.
It's a start for us, a bit to carry on, but still, we are still looking forward to bring Ashley home.
And now that is one step closer to reality.
The Brady landfill search is moving ahead.
Premier Wapkanu confirmed Wednesday crews are in the test phase to search the Brady landfill where Ashley's remains are believed to be.
We're doing the legwork so that the search can proceed later on this year.
This all comes as the Shingoose family prepares to give their own victim impact statements in court, an opportunity they never had during Skibitsky's trial.
I wanted to talk to that Skibitsky in person and tell him how it feels what he put my family into.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Shingoose family will be in court today to deliver their victim impact statements to Court of King's Bench Chief Justice Glenn Joyal. The court has been notified Skibitsky will not be at the hearing. Community advocates and police are asking for your help to identify an Indigenous woman who was found dead at a Winnipeg hotel 1 year ago. This is a composite sketch of the woman who was found at the Manwin Hotel on August 10th, 2024. Officials say she was between 25 and 40 years old, 5 feet 7 inches tall, with black hair and brown eyes, and had no upper teeth. She also had some small tattoos on her hand and wrist and a metal plate on her collarbone, which investigators say would have been visible through her skin. Police emphasize this isn't a criminal investigation and no foul play was suspected. However, they're hoping to bring closure to her loved ones.
Look closely and consider anyone who might match that description. We need your help. If you know something, anything, do not be silent.
Anyone with information is being asked to contact the Missing Persons Unit, Crime Stoppers, or community organizations such as Mamaway Ichita Center. The clock is ticking for a deal to be reached between Air Canada and its flight attendants who could walk off the job tomorrow.
We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be valued for the work that we do.
The airline held a news conference yesterday, which was interrupted by flight attendants accusing Air Canada of forcing unpaid work. The airline has said their last offer would have made Air Canada the best compensated flight attendants in Canada, something the union says isn't true, arguing the offer wouldn't have put the workers above the poverty level. Air Canada says it will be canceling 500 flights by the end of day as it prepares for a full shutdown tomorrow. The gradual suspension of flights started yesterday. If a deal can't be reached, Air Canada has asked the federal government to step in and force mediation. U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to take off from the White House this morning for a summit in Alaska with Russian President Vladimir Putin, aimed at ending the war in Ukraine.
I'll know within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes, like we tend to find out whether or not we're going to have a good meeting or a bad meeting. And if it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
Putin has called Trump's efforts to end the war energetic and sincere. One person that won't be at today's summit is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, though Trump has said he wants to hold another summit involving him. Trump and Putin are expected to sit down for a one-on-one meeting before being joined by other officials from both countries. The plan also includes a joint press conference, though the White House says if it doesn't go well, Trump will hold one of his own. The Blue Bombers pulled off a dramatic finish last night, Sergio Castillo hitting a 47-yard field goal as time expired to give Winnipeg a 30-27 win over Ottawa. The Bombers had been cruising up 27-10 early in the fourth, but the Red Blacks came storming back, tying it in the final minute after Castillo missed from 57 yards and Khalil Pimpleton ran it back 117 yards for the score. Coach Mike O'Shea breaks down why they went for the long field goal instead of punting.
It's way harder to punt that distance than it is to kick the field goal that distance. I think there's a reason why they always try the field goal instead of punt for the single.
The Win Winnipeg now has 5 wins and 4 losses this season. They travel to Montreal to face the Alouettes on August 21st. Is there anything cooler than this guy? A polar bear cooling off on a pile of ice, or a gorilla checking out snacks frozen in ice blocks. These animals at the Prague Zoo found relief from a scorching heat wave in Europe. Even their bison and parrots got in on it. Well, it looks like audiences are really ready to let it go. Rainbow Stage is adding 2 more shows to this year's production of the Disney favorite Frozen. They are an evening performance on August 26th and an afternoon show August 27th. The theater company says all the other matinee shows are now sold out, but there are still evening tickets. Just head to rainbowstage.ca. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic along Portage Avenue. It looks like things are starting off really well for your Friday morning. No issues to tell you about at this point. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Convention Center. We are talking about the Brazilian Pavilion. This is our last day of coverage for Folklorama. Good morning, Ainsley.
I know, Rochelle, it hit me just before we went to air. Yeah. Sigh, sad. It's been such a blast, but I want to tell people too, as Folklorama has told me, if you want to catch a show, get those tickets in advance. Showing up might not be enough because a lot of them have been selling out. And with it being the last weekend of Folklorama, lots of late night parties, including Cuba, Brazil, where we're at right now, Germany, and Scotland celebrating 50 years. You might even score yourself some haggis poutine. Brazil, though, the largest country in South America, with Portuguese being its official language. We're going to get a musical demonstration coming up at 6:37. We're going to get a Brazilian Jiu-jitsu demonstration. We're going to learn about Capoeira, which is a martial arts game involving dance, spirituality, music, and more. Stay with us.
Sounds like fun. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The weekend is here, and what can we expect, Terry?
It's going to be beautiful. I think things might finally start to dry out through the weekend after a soggy day yesterday here in Winnipeg. Yesterday morning, you remember, collected almost 15 millimeters of rain, and I was keeping it ready for round 2. When I got up from my nap yesterday afternoon, we were under severe thunderstorm watches here in Winnipeg. Nothing really came of it. An empty rain gauge this morning. Those watches, though, did amount to thunderstorms in areas just to the north and to the east of us. Even a tornado warning was issued at one point. We're still waiting to hear back from Environment Canada to hear if anything came of that. But now things are going to settle down a little bit, certainly here through southern Manitoba. For northern Manitoba, still another round of rain. Expect that to be hanging around throughout the day today. But then you too will see some clearing throughout Saturday up north, and maybe starting to dry things up after, yes, a couple of soggy days. For us here in the south, it will be a little bit on the cooler side today with slightly below seasonal temperatures, topping out at about 23 degrees. Still pleasant with plenty of sunshine and just a bit of a breeze, and staying sunny and dry throughout the coming weekend. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Good morning. It is 6:15. 2 men are facing charges in connection with the death of a 26-year-old man in the North End last week. Braden Hendry Kwiatkowski was found severely injured in the 600 block of Boyd Avenue last Tuesday and later died. Investigators believe he sustained a fatal injury during a fight with a 27-year-old man. That person is now charged with manslaughter. A 64-year-old man is charged with being an accessory after the fact for allegedly helping him escape. Both remain in custody. Police are searching for 2 suspects after a 61-year-old man was attacked at random in the Spence neighborhood. It happened around 3 a.m. Wednesday in the 700 block of Furby Street. Police say the victim was confronted by 2 people on bicycles who robbed him and attacked him with a baseball bat and a knife. He received serious injuries and was brought to hospital in unstable condition and later upgraded to stable. Police were unable to provide a description of either suspect, but anyone with information is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit. A wildfire raging on the north shore of Newfoundland's Conception Bay has forced thousands of people from their homes, many of whom have no idea if their house is still standing.
Every single item precious to me in my life is in Western Bay.
Tanya Kearley-Russell fled her place in Western Bay 10 days ago as the Kingston wildfire moved closer. She's now in St. John's, waiting for an update on her property. One town council in Conception Bay North did report some preliminary numbers of structures that were lost, but provincial officials say it's still too dangerous to send anybody in for a more complete count. The fire is now heading further north, and more evacuation alerts have been issued.
If there was a Tetris packing championship, we'd probably win it. We're just jammed much stuff as we could get in there.
A growing out-of-control wildfire in Nova Scotia's Annapolis Valley has now forced the evacuation of more than 40 homes. The evacuation order was expanded late last night after a lightning strike ignited nearby woodlands, triggering intense out-of-control flames.
We're really, really pleased that the Irishtown fire is contained because of fantastic work from our firefighters and ground crews and emergency responders.
A bit of good news in New Brunswick, with officials saying one of the 3 major fires has now been contained. That means they have it under control, but officials warn it could still flare up. The province's largest fire is in Miramichi is still out of control.
There is some good news, and I would say that we are cautiously optimistic.
And in Ontario's cottage country, officials say crews are making good progress. They have now classified one of the fires as held, meaning they don't expect it to spread any further. There's still another larger fire that is considered out of control, but at this point, it's not considered a threat to the city of Kawartha Lakes. China's nearly 76% duty on Canadian canola seed went into effect on Thursday as the trade dispute between the two countries grows. We heard from the Prime Minister, the opposition, and industry leaders on what's next. Here's CTV's Alison Bamford.
China's newest anti-dumping duty on Canadian canola seed essentially shuts out Canada from its second largest export market. Speaking to reporters on a farm outside Saskatoon, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre called for retaliation.
We should look at ways we can penalize the regime in Beijing for targeting our farmers.
In a post on X, Prime Minister Mark Carney says his Liberal government plans to advance a constructive dialogue with Chinese officials while diversifying trade abroad. But industry leaders say there are ways to grow the market here at home.
Canadian canola is a terrific feedstock for producing renewable fuels.
Fuels like biodiesel and renewable diesel are already produced in Canada, mainly from cheaper waste oils. But volatility in the Chinese market could increase the appetite for canola-based fuel.
There's a greater capacity to handle more of that canola oil should it become available at a more approachable price.
There's potential not only as a road fuel, but also an alternative to conventional jet fuel.
It would function on existing airport infrastructure in terms of refueling infrastructure. It would function with the same engines that we have today.
If canola could fuel half of Canada's current renewable diesel production, experts say that would make up for about half of the lost Chinese market, with additional revenue potential in sustainable aviation fuel should that production really take off. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford lashed out at Campbell Soup Thursday, accusing the company of misleading Canadian consumers.
Do you think the people of Ontario are that dumb? Like, I'm gonna call you out. I'm getting one of those cans. I'm gonna rip that label off and encourage people to buy made in Ontario, made in Canada soup.
Ford is referring to the designed in Canada printed on some Campbell Soup labels, despite the fact that they're manufactured in New Jersey. The company says the design was first added in 2018, but phased out and is no longer in production. Here's a look at what's going on in traffic along Confusion Corner. So far, so good. No real issues to tell you about at this point in the morning drive. If you see any problems out there, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
All right, a beautiful start to your Friday morning as we take a look now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. What a gorgeous sky this morning. I mean, we had a spectacular sky yesterday, but all having to do with the storms. We have nothing to worry about today, nothing but sunshine, not a whole lot of heat, but our temperatures this morning are pretty close to what is normal for this time of year, maybe even slightly above seasonal here in Winnipeg. We're sitting at 13 degrees, and in fact, 12 is that normal low. So we got Portage coming in at 12 degrees. Most of the southeast is just a degree or two above seasonal, slightly cooler and below seasonal through the southwest. Single digits right now, 8 in Brandon, 9 for Roblin, Melita areas. Northern Manitoba, while we're looking at that clear, gorgeous sky here in the south, you're probably still seeing those clouds hanging around. Another round of rain, especially in the northeast. Northwestern Manitoba may begin to see some clearing eventually, but there will be still a fair bit of activity across northern Manitoba. The warnings map has nothing to show you, though. Things are clearing up, certainly, as far as the smoke goes and as far as the active weather goes. Here in the south, you can see not much happening at all. We do still have those extra clouds across northern Manitoba, and that's where there's still going to be another bit of precipitation expected today. It will be a little bit cooler, and even here in the south, slightly below seasonal as we rise through the day. So our noontime temperatures putting us just into those high teens, but you can see single digits still across much of northern Manitoba. That's by midday, and only barely getting into the double digits up north north. Low 20s for us. 25 degrees is in fact normal for this time of year. We will get back there probably by the end of the weekend and then even surpass it. We've got some hot weather still to come as we look ahead to next week. What a stunning sunset yesterday out at the Low Farm. Tina snapped this gorgeous shot. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at CTV.ca. And we're taking a break, but we'll see you soon. We'll be here with more.
Good morning. As the saying goes, you're never too old to learn, and it goes without saying, you're never too old to inspire others. And 2 neighbors in BC are living proof of that. As CTV's Adam Sawatsky shows you, a woman in her 80s was inspired by a neighbor in her 90s to face a lifelong fear.
Thank you. As Tony Garrett takes tentative steps towards the start of the zip line, she's filled with fear.
I'm afraid of heights.
A lifelong fear that's hindered Tony from experiencing the sort of things that made others so happy.
When my family went to Paris, I'm the one that stayed on the ground while the rest of them climbed the Eiffel Tower.
And Tony will never forget how it felt knowing her children were posing up there while she was waiting alone down here.
And I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it.
And then Tony, who's now 82, read about her retirement resident's upcoming zipline trip and saw pictures from last year's excursion featuring fellow resident Colleen Goosen.
And looking at Colleen's face was so inspiring.
It was a high-flying adventure that Colleen had kept secret from her family until she sent them evidence.
Grandma, what are you doing?
The almost 91-year-old says she was simply doing what you do when you intend to never act old.
I can add years on, but I don't plan to be old.
Which inspired Tony to plan and join Colleen all the way up here and face her fear.
It's a little overwhelming.
Tony says she was actually so overwhelmed, being on a platform as high as 45 meters, 150 feet above the ground, and barely being able to see across chasms that spanned at up to 300 meters, 1,000 feet. She was completely numb.
Like, I just had no idea what it was going to be like.
But after watching Colleen fly through the forest, Tony found the courage to do the same.
Like holding my breath and jumping into deep water.
But instead of being embraced by cooling liquid, Tony found herself being invigorated by rushing air.
This is fantastic.
And after she arrived safely, a burst of euphoria.
I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. It was really good. I loved it.
And if we can find pleasure in facing our fears, Tony says, we may just discover a whole new world of possibilities.
And I've been trying to think about what I can do short of skydiving.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Souk.
That is so amazing. Coming up, we're going to hear the music from the Brazilian Pavilion. Stay with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Look at that. How stunning. Finally, the sun is up. I mean, it was up 10 minutes ago, but only just 6:18. We had to wait a little while to see it, but now it's going to be looking good all throughout southern Manitoba. In fact, 13 degrees right now. Southwest winds are 14 clicks. The pressure is rising. The humidity sitting at 91%. It is going to be a beautiful day all across southern Manitoba. Not too hot. Yesterday, those temperatures, they were on the rise, above seasonal, and then it was muggy too. For northern Manitoba, that rain didn't stop. It's actually still continuing in much of the north. You can see the heavier clouds hanging around, and while the precipitation doesn't read up there, you can bet that you're likely to see more of that today. But central and southern Manitoba, just back to sunny conditions now. And sure, it might be a little bit cool, but a lot of people will be happy with where the temperatures will top out. 23 degrees, a little bit of a breeze as well. It'll be out of the west, and at times gusting to 40 clicks later on into the probably mid-afternoon, that breeze increasing a little bit. But that'll be a pleasant day. 25 is seasonal, so we're not far off the mark of what is normal for this time of year. And then 12 is, in fact, a normal low. That's where we're going to fall to tonight, with partly cloudy conditions expected. Now, northeast winds on the lighter side. Tomorrow, those winds might increase ever so slightly. We're going to enjoy mainly sunny conditions. Just a few clouds lingering, but overall another pleasant day. 22 degrees, so maybe even slightly cooler than today, but then we're getting back up to those seasonal temps by Sunday, and surpassing them, we've got some more heat coming our way on the other side of the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. A call for justice decades in the making. According to a new class action lawsuit, hundreds of patients were subjected to mind-altering drugs and brainwashing experiments, all on Canadian soil. And a Winnipeg senior, one of the last living survivors, says the time for an apology is now. Daniel Homerson has her harrowing story.
They shot something into my arm, and then I wondered, what is going on? Because when it was in me, I felt really funny. I was scared.
Lana Ponting was just 16 years old when she was hospitalized at Montreal's Allen Memorial Institute on the campus of McGill University. She was admitted by her parents to the psychiatric hospital in 1958 after she ran away from home several times.
I had behavior problems like any normal teenager, and I guess they thought putting me into the Allen would help me and help them.
The now 84-year-old who lives in Winnipeg spent a month under the care of psychiatrist Ewan Cameron.
I've been sick all my life because of what they did to me, and sometimes I wake up in the night and I'm screaming.
Unknowingly, Ponting was a part of the infamous MK Ultra program, a Cold War-era CIA project partially funded by the Canadian government. Ponting says she was forced to take drugs like LSD and subjected to a series of mind control and brainwashing experiments.
We were never given consent. They just did what they wanted to us. We were guinea pigs.
In late July, a Quebec Superior Court judge authorized a class action lawsuit against McGill University, Montreal's Royal Victoria Hospital, and the Government of Canada. Ponting is a representative plaintiff in the suit, which alleges hundreds of patients like her were subjected to experiments and not even aware of it. What scares you more, what you can remember or what you don't know that happened?
What I don't remember. What did they do?
Ponting says Ottawa needs to apologize for the harms done, and the lawsuit is seeking compensation.
I don't look at myself as a hero. I look at myself as an 84-year-old woman who will talk. I will not shut up for anyone.
Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
McGill University and the federal government didn't respond to requests seeking comment on the lawsuit. Manitobans are shouldering more debt than they were a year ago. This, according to credit agency TransUnion, which says the average debt load in our province in the first quarter was $21,200, not including mortgage debt. That's up 3.9% from the same time last year, but is still the lowest in the country. The average first-time mortgage is also up 5.7% to $262,000. Remote work is being cancelled for tens of thousands of provincial employees in Ontario.
I like going into the office, but I also really love working from home too. And there's a lot of flexibility with that. And at the end of the day, if the work is getting done, isn't that what matters?
I have to think about our busing situation because my kids are going to 2 different schools. Think about before and after, and a lot of things to think about.
Ontario's public servants were first called back for 3 days a week in the office in 2022 after working remotely for much of the pandemic. The transition to 4 days a week will begin in October, and a full 5 days a week will take effect in January. The head of the AMAPCO union, which represents the members of the Ontario Public Service, writing in a statement that it will fight to, quote, stop the Secretary of Cabinet from dragging Ontario's hardworking public service back to the Stone Age. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he believes government employees are more productive when they are in the office, and having provincial workers return to the office will be better for the economy. We're getting a look at the vision for a new Riverside Park at the historic Alexander Docks.
It's deeply inspired by the rhythm of the Red River, its grace, its power, and its unending movement.
The Forks unveiled the designs Thursday and envisions a welcoming and accessible space with seating terraces, improved lighting, recreational access, and areas dedicated for reflection and ceremony. The plan will also see a revitalized active transportation pathway from Stephen Juba Park to South Point Douglas with a new dock and water bus stop.
It's about recreating a connection to community. This is a missing piece in an East Exchange puzzle, and being able to offer this kind of incredible waterfront access to Winnipeggers, to visitors alike, is going to be pretty stunning for the city.
The design was shaped by consultations with area residents, business owners, and the families of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. The Forks estimate the Alexander Docks redevelopment will cost around $10.8 million. It will be funded through private and government partnerships. Construction could start as early as next summer. Here's a look at what's happening outside on McPhillip Street. Looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. It looks like a gorgeous start to your Friday morning. And let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.35. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.33. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
We are visiting the Brazilian Pavilion this morning with our Ainsley McPhail. Good morning.
This is going to be the best alarm clock, Rochelle. It's the late night party preview, I guess I should say, and we're going to get a live performance. Marinaldo da Silva joins us now to tell us all about some of the sounds of Brazil. Tell us about the show.
Yes, but today we're going to be performing a lot of capoeira, a lot of music, samba especially, which is the most important rhythm from Brazil. Because from samba came bossa nova, the Brazilian jazz, which we're going to be playing a little bit today as well, and many other different rhythms.
Well, within that, I see a real combination of instruments. How do you combine the sound with everything that we see here? Well,
for example, right here we have the timbal, the hipique, and the surdos. This section here for Brazilian rhythm is one of the most important drum set, right? And then we have the riquinho over there with the typical North American drum set.
It really is a collaboration as well with your bandmates. Tell us about how that all comes together.
We set up usually by phone because everybody comes from different places here in Canada, and we have 3 amazing musicians that lives here: the keyboard player, bass player, and the guitar player. I live in Toronto part of the year, and Riquinho, he's actually a school teacher, amazing drummer that lives in Montreal.
Okay, let's hear it, guys.
Waking up to that is almost better than waking up to a cup of coffee, Terry.
Right? A good beat, some sunshine.
Yes.
You might want the coffee in there too. That's a good trifecta right there. Honestly, the energy is going to be good today, and not just what they're bringing out at the pavilion there. The sunshine rising now over the buildings in the downtown area. Absolutely blinding at this moment, but I'm not mad about it at all. 13 degrees right now with southwest winds 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 91%. I mean, aside from the blinding sun, we're looking at a very clear sky, beautiful and blue, and not a cloud to be spotted at this time. Much of southern Manitoba, we're in the clear and will be all weekend long. That is not the case across northern Manitoba, where there's still going to be some heavier clouds and still more rain to fall, especially in the northeast. The northwest might start to see some clearing a little bit later on into the day, but for the northeast, it's probably going to hang around through most of the day. So another soggy one up north, and a cool one too, although even here in the south where the sun is going to be shining, we too can expect slightly below seasonal temperatures. But that's compared to a hot day yesterday. 25 is in fact a normal daytime high. We'll probably top out at 23 here in Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba, and staying sunny and dry all weekend. Even northern Manitoba will see that sunshine back tomorrow. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Let's take a look at the pre-market action as we head into trading. Dow futures are up more than 300 points. NASDAQ futures are slightly lower, down about 21 points. S&P futures are inching higher, up 8 points. The Canadian dollar is down slightly this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng has fallen 249 points, while Japan's Nikkei is up 729. Good morning, it is 6:45. Air Canada is set to cancel 500 flights by end of day today, with a full ground stop planned for Saturday by 1 a.m. if a deal between the airline and its flight attendants can't be reached. The gradual suspension of flights began Thursday, disrupting travel and creating uncertainty for hundreds of thousands of ticket holders. CTV's Sean Leathong reports on the very different messages being delivered by both sides and the travelers caught in the middle.
Storming in on their employer, about 24 Air Canada flight attendants picket inside a news conference that was organized by the airline.
We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be valued for the work that we do.
Members stand holding signs accusing Air Canada of forcing unpaid work. This as the airline begins canceling flights, winding down operations towards a total shutdown.
It's simply not the kind of system that we can start or stop at the push of a button.
At the start of the day, Air Canada leadership outlined what the shutdown would look like. It includes several dozen cancellations Thursday, around 500 cancellations on Friday, with all flights grounded by Saturday if a deal is not reached in time. The first cancellations to be mostly international long-haul flights set to take off Thursday night. The airline saying all canceled flights will be offered a refund as they try to rebook for those who are stranded, but seats are limited.
And it looks like we're going to have to pay out of pocket probably about $900 for a new flight.
With similar anxieties across the country, this woman in Vancouver bought 2 return flights.
I am booked Monday with Air Canada, but I bought another flight with Flair just to be safe.
While in Ottawa, a European vacation may need to be extended.
We could stay with family, but I mean, it would definitely be an inconvenience.
We are extremely disappointed by CUPE's decision, which threatens to disrupt the travel plans of more than 130,000 customers a day.
The airline saying their latest offer, a 38% raise, including benefits, that would make Air Canada the best compensated flight attendants in the country.
One of the lowest rates.
Bargaining team member Natasha Steya says the airline isn't being truthful.
We are not the highest paid, and with the increase that they're proposing, we still would not be the highest paid.
Air Canada has asked the federal government to step in and force mediation, with Federal Labour Minister Patty Hajdu saying the government is available, but I urge both parties to put their differences aside, come back to the bargaining table, and get this done now. Minister Hajdu adding to that statement, saying that the union has requested a deadline of noon on Friday to decide if they will enter binding arbitration. She has agreed.
The potential strike by Air Canada flight attendants isn't just impacting travelers. It's also causing a delay in the strike negotiations for Canada Post. The president of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers released a statement saying scheduled meetings for today and Monday will be postponed. Jim Simpson says the federal mediators who are supposed to be at the table won't be able to assist because of their involvement in the Air Canada negotiations. Workers have rejected Canada Post's latest proposal, which would have seen wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years, as well as restructuring to add part-time workers. Negotiations for a new agreement have been ongoing for more than a year and a half. 50 years after it closed, the Government of Canada and Long Plain First Nation are honoring the historic significance of the former Portage la Prairie Indian Residential School. On Thursday, St. Boniface, St. Vital MP Ginette Lavac and Long Plain First Nation leaders held a special ceremony to unveil 3 plaques recognizing the historical significance of the former residential school. Opened in 1915, the building is a rare surviving example of residential schools which were established across Canada. The residential school system removed Indigenous children from their families and communities, denying them their traditions, language, and culture. Many children were harmed and even died at the school.
It serves as a powerful, immersive memorial that honors those who endured the residential school system, safeguarding their stories, supporting survivors and their communities, educating visitors on the impacts of the residential schools.
The school closed in 1975. Today, it's the home of the National Indigenous Residential School Museum of Canada. After more than 70 years, Christian Island in Georgian Bay has a new ferry connecting it to the mainland.
It means a little bit better freedom for the people of the community. It's very important, very vital transportation back and forth from the community to the mainland.
People living on the island got a chance to ride the new ferry. The new ferry will be able to hold as many as 36 cars, and most importantly, it will act as an icebreaker too. It is expected to be in full operation by the end of the year. Here's a look at what's going on outside on the Norwood Bridge. It's a gorgeous start to your day. Things are moving well over here, and take a look at this shot of the river. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it really does. This shot, too. I mean, I feel like anywhere you look this morning, a gorgeous day ahead. 13 degrees with southwest winds, 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 91%. Now, I should just say that that goes for southern and central Manitoba, because for northern Manitoba, not that it's not going to be a gorgeous day, but it's probably going to be another rainy one, and things will be a little bit cool there as well, although we too will have slightly cool below seasonal temperatures here across much of southern Manitoba. Satellite map, not much to show you, and that's because the only place that we're seeing the precipitation is northern Manitoba, and that doesn't read on our satellite map. So we'll skip ahead to this, and I'll let you know where it's going to rain today. Almost everywhere across northern Manitoba. With the cooler temperatures, Churchill might not even crack into the double digits. Other places will, but just barely. And below seasonal, mid to high teens, that's still normal for this time of year across much of northern Manitoba, and even some low 20s would be seasonal daytime highs, and instead mid-teens with the heavier clouds, and yes, the precipitation still continuing, although later on today you might see some clearing. If not today, then tomorrow things will be looking a lot brighter across northern Manitoba. Well, things are already looking brighter here through southern Manitoba with the sun up. We did have to wait till 6:18 for it to even rise, but now that it has risen, it's going to throw a little bit of warmth our way, not a shocking amount. I mean, yesterday we got up to 28 degrees. We're not going to do that today, slightly below the seasonal 25, in fact, but still a very pleasant day ahead. The winds this morning on the lighter side, they'll increase slightly through the afternoon. Areas just off to the east of us may still see some brief passing showers. Temperatures may be a little bit warmer across that eastern border as well, just by a degree or two. Here we're going to see things warming up eventually as well. While it might be a slightly cool and below seasonal start to the weekend, we're back to normal temps by Sunday, and from there we're going to feel the mercury on the rise as we look ahead to next week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go now check in on Bo at Bounce 99.9. Good morning, Bo. Happy Friday.
Oh, it's happy after that Bomber win last night.
So close, though.
Yeah. No. You know, I was watching. I didn't go. It's my granddaughter Allison's 11th birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday to her,
sweetie.
Yes.
Yes. So I gave her my ticket. She took her best friend and her dad and had a great time last night.
Lovely.
So, yeah, it's good. So we had this study come out this week that says the simpler your life, the more happy you are. So a simple life equals a happy life. Our question is, how do you simplify your life? I'll start with myself. If I go to bed at 8 o'clock, perfect. My life is a lot happier at 8 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock after a Bomber game. And I guess if I wasn't such a sports nut living and dying with my Bombers and Jets, my life would be a lot simpler and a lot happier. But I'll take the stress of that. How about yourself? What do you do to keep your life a little more simple?
Well, because our schedule is so crazy, as you know, I get up at 2:08 in the morning every single day. It's the same thing. I need to be in bed by a certain time. I need to have everything ready to go in the morning, so I do everything the night before. I declutter my life. I have routines. I have a very tight schedule. I don't mess around with it Monday to Friday. I keep it exactly the same. I'm kind of boring, but that's okay. I need to be simple to be able to do this job. So that's exactly the same as you, Bo. We have the same schedule pretty much.
Pretty much, but wait a minute, 2:08. Now, I'm not quite up that early, but I like your thinking. Boring equals happy.
Yes.
Okay, I love that. Hey, listen, it's also today Relaxation Day. You're just coming off a holiday. I hope you had a real relaxing time.
I did. It was wonderful. We did some camping and we chilled out for 3 weeks. It was perfect. It's exactly what I needed. So back to the 8 o'clock sleep time, though, which was a big change for me this week.
Yeah, but you're happy. That's the main thing. Have a great weekend, you guys.
You too, Bo. Take care. A teenager in Colorado has created her own line of Care Bears. Here's ABC's Danny New.
A special delivery from a 13-year-old with a recovering spine and a metaphorically giant heart.
It would be nice to have a little bear that
was just like them.
These look really, really nice.
Yeah.
Nora Casper, who has congenital scoliosis, has spent the past 6 months creating bears with both casts.
Look at that, it has an x-ray on it.
And even surgically implanted rods to donate to young patients with scoliosis at Children's Hospital, Colorado.
Here he is. He's a little rough right now.
As you can see, Nora always had specially crafted bears by her side during her earliest treatments.
She's right here. You can feel the rods here.
However, just before her second spinal fusion surgery this past February to relieve pain and stop the progression of her spine's curve, Nora discovered those bears she loved so much had been discontinued.
She said to me, well, I want to do that. I want to do that and make them.
Soon, Nora and her mom, Jackie, were turning the kitchen into a giant mess as they became plaster masters.
We also have braced ones.
After making dozens with both casts and rods the very day before that second surgery, Nora dropped off her first batch to the staff at the hospital. 6 months later, Nora says she is feeling much better. She's performing and even competing on the swim team. In fact, I don't know if you noticed in our interview, but Nora is actually wearing a new cast and not on her back. She broke her wrist falling off of a hoverboard, but Nora says she's actually a little proud of this cast.
You're not having fun until you break a bone. You have to break a bone at least once, I feel like.
By the way, her spine was so curved after that second surgery, Nora actually grew 2 inches. Look at those dates in this picture. 2 weeks later, she was a different height. She is such a warrior, and she told me she's already making her next batch of bears. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
It's that time of year, and CTV and Chicken Chef want you to share how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your Manitoba summer magical, we want to see it. We've seen some amazing moments so far from you, and now it's your turn to shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates and a gorgeous patio set from Windeck to elevate your outdoors. So what are you waiting for? Grab your phone and share your summer with us today. Good morning. It is Friday, August 15th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Air Canada employees are thinking about going on strike starting tomorrow. So we're going to get some reaction on what that could mean for Air Canada passengers and your plans, your trip plans. But we're going to get that a little later at 7:52. But first, your headlines. The start of healing. What item was returned to the family of a Winnipeg murder victim? Plus, fear for the future, how the government is responding to a Chinese tariff on canola. And a new chapter, how parents can cope with their kids leaving home. Bringing in Terry now, the weather was...
You turn their room into...
yeah, into an extra
whatever
closet.
You might want it to be.
Exactly.
Oh, enjoy that extra space. I'm kidding. I'm sure I will weep when that day comes. But got some time yet. Anyway, let's talk about outside this morning. It is absolutely gorgeous. 13 degrees. The sun is shining. Look at this beautiful start to your Friday morning. South winds, they're 14 kilometers per hour with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 91%. Very few clouds across southern Manitoba, central southern Manitoba, all of us in the clear. What a change up from yesterday morning when those storms rolled through, or even by yesterday afternoon. There was still some storm action in areas just off to the north and to the east of us. Even Winnipeg, when I woke up from my nap, we were under a severe thunderstorm watch. Didn't really amount to too much or anything really. All of that activity stayed further to the east of us. But now you can see it off further east yet, but still northern Manitoba. You're waking up to another soggy one today, and that'll continue pretty much throughout the day today, especially in the northeast. The northwest might begin to see some clearing. We'll stay clear, sunny, dry throughout today. A few clouds will start to move in the overnight hours, and anybody right along that very southern border may see some precipitation overnight or notice some precipitation tomorrow morning when you wake up, because again, that's going to be falling at nighttime. A few clouds in the morning, even those will be clearing out, and northern Manitoba also clears out for tomorrow. Allows you a day to dry up before the next round comes, because later on into the weekend you could be getting clipped again with more storms moving into northern Manitoba. Here in the south, doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much other than sunshine, and the temperatures starting out a little below seasonal, get back to normal by Sunday and surpass it into next week. Our art today, keeping the storms in mind. Here's a great shot or picture by Avery, 10 years old, and we'd love to see your art. We'll have nothing to show you next week if you don't send me some, please. So keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
For years, she was known only as Buffalo Woman, the unidentified victim of a convicted serial killer. But now the family of Ashley Shingoose can begin to heal as the province confirms a search of Brady landfill will begin later this year. As CTV's Denton Unger shows you, the jacket Ashley was wearing when she was last seen has now been returned to the family.
It was a moment Albert and Teresa Shingoose have been waiting months for.
I think it is a start of healing for both of us.
On Wednesday, Winnipeg police gave the Shingoose family the jacket their daughter Ashley Shingoose had been wearing when she disappeared.
To get Ashley's jacket back, it's very overwhelming.
Earlier this year, Ashley was identified as one of the 4 victims killed by convicted serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky in 2022. Up until then, Ashley remained unidentified, given the name Mashkoti Bezekwi, or Buffalo Woman. This distinctive jacket was a major piece of evidence Winnipeg police relied on while trying to identify her, releasing photos to the public in hopes it would lead to tips. Ashley's father, Albert, says since Skibitsky's trial wrapped up, he's been trying to bring the jacket home.
Finally, we have it.
And with it, the Shingoose family says, comes a measure of healing.
It's a start for us, a bit to carry on, but still, we are still looking forward to bring Ashley home.
And now that is one step closer to reality.
The Brady landfill search is moving ahead.
Premier Wapkanu confirmed Wednesday crews are in the test phase to search the Brady landfill where Ashley's remains are believed to be.
We're doing the legwork so that the search can proceed later on this year.
This all comes as the Shingoose family prepares to give their own victim impact statements in court, an opportunity they never had during Skibitsky's trial.
I wanted to talk to that Skibitsky in person and tell them how it feels, what he put my family into.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Shingoose family will be in court today to deliver their victim impact statements to Court of King's Bench Chief Justice Glenn Joyal. The court has been notified Skibitsky will not be at the hearing. 2 men are facing charges in connection with the death of a 26-year-old man in the North End last week. Braden Henry Kadir-Kwatkowski was found severely injured in the 600 block of Boyd Avenue last Tuesday and later died. Investigators believe he sustained a fatal injury during a fight with a 27-year-old man. That person is now charged with manslaughter. A 64-year-old man is charged with being an accessory after the fact for allegedly helping him escape. Both remain in custody. Police are searching for 2 suspects after a 61-year-old man was attacked at random in the Spence neighborhood. It happened around 3 a.m. Wednesday in the 700 block of Furby Street. Police say the victim was confronted by 2 people on bicycles who robbed him and attacked him with a baseball bat and a knife. He received serious injuries and was brought to a hospital in unstable condition and later upgraded to stable. Police were unable to provide a description of either suspect, but anyone with information is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit. More positive news on the wildfire front. The city of Thompson says a major fire burning to the northwest is no longer considered out of control, but is instead being held. As you can see, the blaze is also north of Nelson House, where evacuees have begun to return home. The city says the second fire directly north is still considered out of control due to how close it is to the city. But recent rainfall and fire suppression by crews on the ground have had a big impact. It's a similar story over in Snow Lake, where rain has also helped tamp down the flames. However, the town says several ice fishing shacks have been destroyed north of town. And finally, Manitoba Park says Atikaki Provincial Park has reopened to everyone. It notes 2 major fires continue to burn in the region, and South Atikaki and Wallace Lake Provincial Parks remain closed. A Chinese tariff on Canadian canola seed is now in effect, leaving many farmers feeling uncertain about the future.
We should look at ways we can penalize the regime in Beijing
for targeting our farmers.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling for retaliation, while a statement from Prime Minister Mark Carney says his Liberal government plans to advance constructive dialogue with Chinese officials while diversifying trade abroad. China, which sources nearly all of its supplies of canola from Canada, announced preliminary anti-dumping duties on canola imports on Tuesday, escalating a year-long trade dispute that began with Ottawa's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicle imports. Back to school can not only be stressful for students, but also for parents. If your child is leaving home for college or a new job, it can sometimes lead to what's commonly called empty nest syndrome.
It can trigger a wide range of emotions, everything from pride and joy to loneliness and grief.
Psychologist Susan Albers says it's not the end of your parenting story, but rather the start of a new chapter. Consider creating a connection ritual, a regular time when you can talk or exchange text messages with each other, and to focus on the gains, not the gaps. Maybe you now have time for a new hobby or to volunteer. It's also a good time to reconnect with friends and do some traveling.
Remember that it is not just about filling your time, but finding things that give you a sense of purpose.
Albert says you can start by rearranging a room or planting new flowers. She says these kinds of activities signal to your brain that life is moving forward in a positive way. Team Manitoba's medal count has nearly doubled over the last 2 days at the Canada Summer Games. On Thursday, flag bearer Luke Enns picked up 2 medals, a silver and a bronze, in men's K1 canoe kayak races. William Whittennew also took home bronze in the C1 5,000 meter race. That adds to Wednesday's tally with gold medals for swimmers Tegan Ann Purvis and Maxine Levitt, a silver in the pool for Ben Purvis, and a bronze for Alexander Saramac in C1 canoe kayak. Team Manitoba has racked up 13 medals so far. Here's a look at what is happening in traffic along the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are moving smoothly over here. No issues to tell you about at this point. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the RBC Convention Center. Folklorama is already wrapping up tomorrow, and we're featuring the Brazilian Pavilion today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You don't want to be this guy, Rochelle. I'm going to be learning about, this is my new friend, Tickle, Tickle, Tickle. I don't think that's part of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. But we'll be learning the moves from Paulo, the world champion, coming up at 7:27. Now, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu alongside Capoeira, which is a martial arts game involving dance, acrobatics, music, and more, is offered for toddlers even, and women too, seeking self-defense. So don't let your opponent get behind you. Folklorama in its final stretch. Some pavilions with milestone years, like Scotland, for example, they've got the late night party tonight. Cuba, Brazil, one of those as well, with tons of music, dance, food. They've got coconut ice cream on the menu, which definitely piqued my interest. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to head to the kitchen.
All right, thank you, Ainsley. It looks like you did a real number on that guy's face. All right, out on the rooftop now. It's pretty sunny out there, Terry.
Oh, it sure is, and I am loving it. Dun, da, da, da. Yeah, there it is. All right, blue sky and sunshine. It is gorgeous out here this morning. 13 degrees right now. Southwest winds 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising. Humidity sitting at 89%. Grab those sunglasses today. You're going to need them. And things will be really pleasant today. It'll be slightly below seasonal, but I don't think a lot of people will be mad about that. I mean, the temperatures will still be incredibly pleasant, pushing up into those low 20s. And knowing that it's going to get hotter, if you don't like the heat, which is coming back next week, then enjoy these next couple of days, today and tomorrow, with these slightly below seasonal temperatures. For northern Manitoba, it's still going to be another soggy one for you. Not just soggy, a little bit cool as well, with even some single digits up around Churchill, but the rest of the area just getting up into those double digits or low to mid-teens. Here in the south, we've got the sunshine for today. Northern Manitoba will get back to that for tomorrow. And then from there, like I said, those temperatures will be on the rise. Today and tomorrow, slightly below seasonal, but 25 is normal. We'll get back to that number by Sunday, and those temperatures just keep climbing as we're looking to the other side of the weekend.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's time to check in now on our question of the day. We want to know, what's the best movie or show you've watched so far this summer? Our question of the day has moved from Twitter. So now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more, whether they're dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on CTV Morning Live. We're taking a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. It is 7:15. Community advocates and police are asking for your help to identify an Indigenous woman who was found dead at a Winnipeg hotel 1 year ago. This is a composite sketch of the woman who was found at the Manwin Hotel on August 10th, 2024. Officials say she was between 25 and 40 years old, 5 feet 7 inches tall, with black hair and brown eyes, and had no upper teeth. She also had some small tattoos on her hand and wrist and a metal plate on her collarbone, which investigators say would have been visible through her skin. Police emphasize this isn't a criminal investigation and no foul play was suspected. However, they're hoping to bring closure to her loved ones.
Look closely and consider anyone who might match that description. We need your help. If you know something, anything, do not be silent.
Anyone with information is being asked to contact the Missing Persons Unit, Crime Stoppers, or community organizations such as Mama Way. Manitobans are shouldering more debt than they were a year ago. This according to credit agency TransUnion, which says the average debt load in our province in the first quarter was $21,200, not including mortgage debt. That's up 3.9% from the same time last year, but is still the lowest in the country. The average first-time mortgage is also up 5.7% to $262,000. Happening now, U.S. President Donald Trump is departing for Alaska at any moment for a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump has boarded Air Force One ahead of today's meeting in Alaska. He has posted online this morning, summing up what many are saying about this meeting, quote, high stakes. The aim of today's meeting in Alaska is to bring an end to the war in Ukraine. It will include a one-on-one between Trump and Putin, as well as meetings with officials from both countries. If you're looking to try something new, get creative, or commit to a healthy routine, the City of Winnipeg's Fall and Winter Leisure Guide is now available. You can sign up for yoga classes or Zumba, or even learn Spanish. There's also cooking classes, music classes, and more. Registration for fall and winter activities begins August 26th. You can register online through Leisure Online. You will need to set up an account if you don't already have one. There's also a user-friendly mobile version, or you can call 311. In-person registration can be done at Cindy Clausen Recreation Complex on August 26th only. Or you can also visit 395 Main Street, 170 Goulet Street, or any city indoor pool. More information can be found on the City of Winnipeg's website. This guide doesn't include skating or swimming. Details about those programs will be released December 4th. Here's a look at what's happening along Donald Street. Things are moving well here starting off this Friday morning. No issues to tell you about in traffic at this point. Time now for some entertainment news. It looks like audiences are really ready to let it go. Rainbow Stage is adding 2 more shows to this year's production of the Disney favorite, Frozen. They are an evening performance on August 26th and an afternoon show August 27th. The theater company says all the other matinee shows are now sold out, but there are still evening tickets. Just head to rainbowstage.ca. Some of his younger fans may not know what it is, but a phone booth has been placed outside of Drake's Toronto home. Why? We're not quite sure yet, but there's been no shortage of speculation online about what it might be doing there. It popped up as he continues to work on an upcoming album. Whatever the reason is, it's fair to say you should no longer call Drake on his cell phone, but maybe his bell phone? Simu Liu needs a favor.
I only talk to God when I need a favor, and I only pray when I ain't got a prayer. Well,
Liu shared this video on his social media playing guitar. He's covering Jelly Roll's song, Need a Favor. Liu said he tried singing it, but then it started to fall apart near the end. Liu is not only an actor, but a musician too. A year ago, he shared a video for his song called Don't. From one Canadian icon to the next, Dan Levy just shared these pictures on social media. His comedy series, Big Mistakes, is now in production. You may recognize more familiar faces, including this one, Jack Inanen. We actually recently had him on the Your Morning Toronto show about his other comedy series, Adults, that premiered in May. Your weekend lineup starts with Celebrity Jeopardy at 7, followed by a double dose of Fear Thy Neighbor, and E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30, only on CTV. All right, it's the weekend. The weekend's finally here. It's going to be a good one.
It really is going to be a good one. I think I'm so looking forward to this. We're getting beautiful conditions to kick things off this morning. That rain, it really helped. I mean, we had that smoke clear yesterday, even in advance of the storms, but now to be waking up to this beautiful, fresh morning. Here's a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And even northern Manitoba, free of the smoke for now. There's probably another round of rain to come across northern Manitoba. But that's not going to necessarily be bad news given the situation going on up north regarding the fires. So another round of rain, you'll get back to the sunshine. Things should be clearing out up north either late today or overnight and through tomorrow. Tomorrow you will get that sunshine back again. We're waking up to the sunshine here through central and southern Manitoba, and really nice temperatures as well. Sure, it might be a little bit cool, especially here in the southwest, although Melita has gone from single digits up into the double digits this past hour now. We're sitting at 13 degrees, but pleasant. If you want to crack a window, let some of that fresh air in, these are the kind of conditions that you can really do that in. For northern Manitoba, you can see it's cooler yet in the single digits to kick things off, and sure, there's some heavier clouds hanging around and some rain, but there's no smoke. You can see our warnings map is completely empty right now. That's good news. So that rain is also good news for the northern parts of the province where those fires are still blazing. Another day of it today before you get some drier conditions for tomorrow. Here's a look at how the temperatures will rise through the day, and sure, it'll be a little bit below seasonal, but again, not bad, especially knowing that heat is coming back again. So high teens by midday, low 20s into the afternoon. For northern Manitoba, it will remain a little bit cooler than that, just into the double digits or mid-teens for you. But those temperatures will be rising. By Sunday, we're back to seasonal, and even more heat coming our way next week. What a stunning sky yesterday. Thanks to Tina for sharing this photo with us. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. There's been a common thread in one man's journey from Syria to Turkey to Canada. Sewing, a skill he mastered as a child out of necessity, has helped him stitch together his dream life in British Columbia. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
And that's one picture of me. I was a year and 3 months.
And not long after he posed in front of a picture of a city, Ali Alaj Obed started seeing the real buildings bombed.
In Syria, all I can remember is the war.
And never forget the friends and family he lost.
I really don't prefer to talk much about it because it really hurts.
Well, his family eventually found temporary safety moving to Turkey. Ali had to start working full-time to support them when he was 12.
Scary, tough.
You were just a little boy.
Yeah.
Working 12-hour shifts, almost 6 days a week at a clothing manufacturer.
And in break times, I started sitting at the machines and discovering how to use those machines.
Ali taught himself how to sew before designing and crafting clothes for his mom and younger sister when he was 13.
It felt a big achievement.
He got so good, Ali was promoted to manager at 17.
There is no way to love it. When you work there, you are just like a machine.
Ali would find solace spending time with his family and watching YouTube videos about Canada.
It was my dream to come and be here one day.
So you can imagine how Ali felt when, after applying to multiple countries, his family was accepted to immigrate here.
I can't really explain it in words.
When they arrived, Ali earned a job sewing, was accepted to college, and fell in love.
That's my wedding suit.
Ali made it from scratch, while also tailoring this wedding dress for his wife.
Tailoring to me is not just sewing, it's an art.
It's now Ali's passion, which he couldn't be more grateful to share after realizing his dream of opening his own tailoring business.
My hope is pay back to Canada.
And after his life was torn apart by war, Ali's committed to stitch it back together by using his skills to be of service.
Kindness is the main thing in life, being kind to others.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
there, Kara Wagland inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday. And 4, we're taking you to the Jays game where they're wrapping up their series with the Cubbies. Top of 2, Burlington, Ontario native Owen Casey making his major league debut. Swings in the first pitch he sees, but no, David Schneider saying not on my watch. Tracks it down, makes a fantastic catch, robbing Casey of his first career hit. Schneider goes full extension for the web gem. It is your must-see moment from Thursday. And coming up Friday on TSN, we got a little Friday night football for you. CFL action, the Argos and Elks, our pregame coverage gets underway at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's all for now from Sports Center. Have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years.
Stay with us as we continue our journey of the Brazilian Pavilion. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's all dressed up, ready for some jiu-jitsu this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Rochelle, I feel very out of place right now, mainly because you guys saw the moves earlier. I'm simply a moderator. World champion Paulo Albuquerque joins us now to tell us all about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Getting my words tied up before you guys get all tied up with this demonstration. Let's talk about what it is for those who at home who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art where we're looking, we do self-defense, trying to control your opponent. So, getting the position, predominant positions, right? So go in the back, go in the mount. We later show you a little bit about it.
Lots of ages as well in Winnipeg, no less, taking part in this.
Yeah, some people see, oh, that's a very intense martial art, but that's for seniors, that's for kids. We're going to be teaching 18 months kids, there's a space for everybody in Jiu-Jitsu.
Including self-defense as well. It's an incredible skill.
That's right. We focus also in women's classes, for self-defense, adults. So yeah, self-defense, it's a big deal, for Jiu-Jitsu. That's why people really like it to do Jiu-Jitsu, self-defense competition. If you're gonna do MMA, you're gonna need Jiu-Jitsu. It's a very important martial art.
You know what? I'll watch. How about that? I'll watch, and let's start with that now. Go ahead.
Because all good fight scenes need a soundtrack. Thank you from the Brazilian Pavilion. That's going to be a lot of fun to check out. All right, 13 degrees right now. Plenty of sunshine to kick off your Friday morning. Winds out of the southwest on the lighter side, just 10 clicks right now. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 89%. It looks gorgeous out there right now. All of central and southern Manitoba waking up to sunshine. Beautiful conditions right now. Northern Manitoba, you can see the clouds up there. You don't see the rain on our satellite map, but you can bet it's falling another day of it all throughout the north. Whereas here in the south, yes, we've got the sunshine back, but we're not going to be feeling the heat like we did yesterday. Yesterday, we got up to 28 degrees. It was hot. It was humid. It even sparked some thunderstorm warnings into the afternoon watches when I got up from my nap. And I think there were even some tornado warnings into the evening time for areas in the surrounding area, just north and east of Winnipeg. Still waiting to hear back from Environment Canada to see if anything came of that. But now things have settled down and we're rolling into the weekend with really nice conditions. 23 degrees expected with mainly sunny conditions and winds increasing slightly into the afternoon to about 40 kilometers per hour. Those winds easing overnight as we drop down to a very seasonal 12 degrees. Just a few clouds overnight. And for tomorrow, mostly sunny once again. 22 degrees, so again, not a hot day, but still pleasant, and a bit of a breeze out of the northeast. From there, we get back to seasonal temps on Sunday. 25 is normal for this time of year, and we will watch the mercury on the rise as we continue throughout next week.
Thanks, Terry. Manitoba Hydro crews are working to repair fire-damaged infrastructure and restore power in several northern Manitoba communities. Manitoba Hydro says so far this year, wildfires have damaged or destroyed more than 1,200 poles, along with lines and transformers. Some damage is only now being discovered, including about 100 more poles found during an aerial survey this week along a 75-kilometer stretch between Leaf Rapids and South Indian Lake. Hydro says crews have already replaced or repaired about 500 poles this wildfire season, often in remote, hard-to-reach areas where smoke and weather can delay work. Right now, about 1,300 customers in 5 communities remain without power, and there's no word yet on when service will be restored. Hydro says more updates will be provided. Officials are hoping rain will help in their fight against a growing wildfire on Vancouver Island near Port Alberni.
We don't feel that there is any imminent threat. Otherwise, we would be issuing additional alerts and orders, but we need people to be prepared.
The Mount Underwood wildfire has triggered local states of emergency in Port Alberni, as well as in a nearby First Nation and parts of the Cowichan Valley Regional District. And although the fire grew Thursday, rain this weekend is expected to help slow things down. Meanwhile, a wildfire raging on the north shore of Newfoundland's Conception Bay has forced thousands of people from their homes, many of whom have no idea if their house is still standing.
Every single item precious to me in my life is in Western Bay.
Tanya Kearley-Russell fled her place in Western Bay 10 days ago as the Kingston wildfire moved closer. She's now in St. John's, waiting for an update on her property. One town council in Conception Bay North did report some preliminary numbers of structures that were lost, but provincial officials say it's still far too dangerous to send anybody in for a more complete count. The fire is now heading further north, and more evacuation alerts have been issued.
If there was a Tetris packing championship, we'd probably win it. We're just jammed much stuff as we could get in there.
Growing out of control wildfire in Nova Scotia's Annapolis Valley has now forced the evacuation of more than 40 homes. The evacuation order was expanded late last night after a lightning strike ignited nearby woodlands, triggering intense out of control flames.
Really pleased that the Irish Town fire is contained because of fantastic work from our firefighters and ground crews and emergency responders.
A bit of good news in New Brunswick, with officials saying one of the 3 major fires has now been contained. That means they have it under control, but officials warn it could still flare up. The province's largest fire in Miramichi is still out of control.
There is some good news, and I would say that we are cautiously optimistic.
And in Ontario's cottage country, officials say crews are making good progress. They have now classified one of the fires as held, meaning they don't expect it to spread any further. There's still another larger fire that is considered out of control, but at this point, it's not considered a threat to the city of Kawartha Lakes. The Blue Bombers pulled off a dramatic finish last night. Sergio Castillo hitting a 47-yard field goal as time expired to give Winnipeg a 30-27 win over Ottawa. The Bombers had been cruising up 27-10 early in the fourth, but the Red Blacks came storming back, tying it in the final minute after Castillo missed from 57 yards and Khalil Pimpleton ran it back 117 yards for the score. Coach Mike O'Shea breaks down why they went for the long field goal instead of punting.
It's way harder to punt that distance than it is to kick the field goal that distance. I think there's a reason why they always try the field goal instead of punt for the single.
With the win, Winnipeg now has 5 wins and 4 losses this season. They travel to Montreal to face the Alouettes on August 21st. It's been hot in Ontario, leaving creatures big and small searching for relief. This is a raccoon finding a way to cool off in someone's backyard in North Bay. You can see the raccoon taking a dip in a backyard pond at night. Here's a look at what's happening outside now on Pembina Highway. Things are moving well over here. We have no real issues to tell you about at this point in traffic. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.35. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.33. The lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Here's a look at what's happening outside. It's gorgeous, it's sunny, it is 13 degrees. More CTV Morning Live is on the way.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
is out there for your Friday morning. 13 degrees, pleasant temps, and a beautiful sunny sky. Southwest winds just 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 89%, and still no smoke to tell you about. Just the sunshine that we're waking up to. Although not everybody's waking up to the sunshine. You can see the clouds across the north. Another round of rain. You got it yesterday. It's still coming down. Again, this will help with the fire situation across northern Manitoba, but probably, yeah, things will be a little bit soggy and cool. Single-digit temperatures expected in Churchill today. Other places will get up into the double digits, but barely. I'm talking like just into the double digits or maybe some low teens. And yes, some heavier clouds and rain expected throughout the day today. Some places might start to see a little bit of clearing later on into the afternoon. And then certainly for tomorrow, things will look a little bit sunnier and brighter. Saturday, sunshine back for northern Manitoba. But today, like I said, not just soggy, mid-teens. That's below seasonal for sure. Here in the south, too, will be a little bit below seasonal when 25 is normal for this time of year. Instead, low 20s are expected for us. Plenty of sunshine. We'll take a break from all the turbulent weather. Even yesterday afternoon, when I got up from my nap, we were under a thunderstorm watch here in Winnipeg. Didn't amount to too much. There were even some tornado warnings issued. Now, Environment Canada has gotten back to us. No funnel clouds spotted, although in the Powerview Pine Falls area, that's just right on the other side of Lake Winnipeg there. Ping pong ball to tennis ball size hail, that's massive. So some places certainly did see that very active weather yesterday evening. We didn't get anything here in the southern part of the province, the very southern part. But those warnings were there yesterday and then all passed on by with no issues. Now, no issues through the weekend. It's just going to remain sunny and dry. A little bit cool to kick things off, slightly below seasonal. 25 is normal, but there you can see the heat is coming back for next week.
A pilot program is hoping to recruit the next generation of neuroscientists. It's taking promising students and taking them from community housing into one of Canada's top neuroscience centers. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
I sent well over 100 cold emails before I finally got a position in a lab, and that was sort of my first opportunity that turned into more opportunities and eventually led me down this path.
Dr. Kareem Mathani's experiences led him to create the Next Neuroscience program, a new partnership between Sunnybrook Health Sciences and Toronto Community Housing, inspired by similar past programs.
So we are home to 100,000 residents, and 29% of the residents are young people. So young people up to 24 years.
One time I wanted to be a firefighter. Another time, for many years, I thought I would be in the NBA.
Caleb Wamiki just finished grade 12, and his 2 months at Sunnybrook have inspired him to switch to a career in neuroscience.
I think it's the most interesting system in the body, the nervous system, because it controls like your mind, it controls voluntary movement, it controls your breathing, all these things that we don't even think about.
Before this, I never had the opportunity to come into a physical lab, coming to a hospital, seeing people, and this is their day-to-day job, you know?
Nabayat Fasaha had always been interested in science, but never dreamed she could get a paid summer job in a top neuroscience department.
I come here from like 9 to 5. It's just like seeing if I want to do this in the future.
Dr. Neer Lipsman says their goal was to expose promising young students to neuroscience and hopefully ignite their careers.
Everything from brain technology to emerging ways of interacting with the brain to studying the brain and to studying patients, that was really our goal.
This year there were 4 students in the program, 2 grade 11, 2 grade 12, but next year they hope to expand that number in the Next Neuroscientist program. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Let's go back now to the Brazilian Pavilion with our Ainsley McPhail. It's been action-filled so far this morning, Ainsley.
Oh, Rochelle, what a blast we've had. We're going to be learning about Capoeira. And the question is, what is it? Because it really is a combination of things. Paulo is going to tell us everything that we need to know.
Yeah, Capoeira is a Brazilian martial art where we combine dance, music, cultural history. So it's very hard to, to say what's Capoeira in one word, but it's all that, together. And community, family, yes.
And tradition, and that's really some of the most special pieces of Folklorama, bringing people together. What does that mean for Brazilians?
Yeah, Brazil, we don't do anything by ourselves, right? So the community, it's very important, and capoeiras help a lot. Like I start Folklorama with my students. Yeah, 2006, I had 40 students. Let's do Folklorama. We got together and set it up, for Folklorama. That's when we start.
So I'm a visual learner, so sometimes it's not just explaining it, it's actually seeing it. You're going to do a demonstration, and you're kicking it off with a bang.
Yes.
Okay, let's see it.
Bola. Next bola.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. Well, it's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 63rd birthday to Val from Kimmicky. Happy 33rd birthday, Kayla. Love Mom, Dad, Megan, and Bentley. Happy 5th birthday to Hannah, Adeline. Love Dad, Mom, Braden, Maple, and the rest of the family. Happy 57th birthday, Kevin, from Michelle and Rose Bailey. Happy 65th birthday, Darlene. Love all your family and friends. Happiest 21st birthday, Valak. Love Kugum, Papa, and family. Happy 18th birthday, Jaislyn. Love Mommy Core, Daddy, and Mama. A happy 90th birthday to Shirley. Have a fun day. And a happy 50th wedding anniversary, Brian and Marie. Love all your family and friends. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. CTV Morning Live Weather, brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
All right, it is the weekend now, and it's looking gorgeous. Perfectly pleasant to move on into the weekend with the temperatures on the rise throughout. So a little something for everybody. Well, sunshine for us throughout the weekend. But if you like the cooler weather, we have that to kick off the weekend. If you like the warmer weather, we'll have that to wrap up the weekend. Let's go with that. 13 degrees right now in Winnipeg, southwest winds, 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 89%. The sun is up. I'm looking at beautiful blue sky out here. There is a little bit of a breeze as well. And I mentioned those slightly below seasonal temperatures to kick off the weekend. We're going to be topping out in the low 20s across southern Manitoba today. Tomorrow, more of the same. By Sunday, back up to those more seasonal mid-20 temps. Now for northern Manitoba, you're still dealing with the rain again today. Heavier clouds, showers expected. That will all eventually come to an end. You might even start to see some sunshine later on today, but more likely for tomorrow, things will look a little bit brighter across the north. Northern Manitoba also in for those cool temps, topping out in the mid-teens.
It's the final day before a potential work stoppage could ground all Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge flights. More than 10,000 flight attendants are poised to walk off the job around 1 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, followed by a company-imposed lockout if the two sides can't reach an 11th hour deal. Air Canada said it was expecting to cancel around 500 flights previously scheduled to take off today in anticipation of the work stoppage, with a full stoppage looming Saturday. Joining us now is the president and CEO of Air Passenger Rights, Gabor Lukács. Good morning, Gabor.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, Air Canada started canceling flights yesterday as the airline and the union representing its flight attendants contract dispute continues. So far, it looks like customers whose flights are canceled will be eligible for a full refund. Tell us about that.
Passengers should not fall for the trap of taking a refund. Air Canada is attempting to defraud passengers about their rights. Passengers are being told falsely that there are no other flights available, while in fact there are many other flights that could be booked, and passengers are finding those flights if they know what to do. From Air Canada's perspective, it's way cheaper to just try to push a refund on you as a passenger than to actually pay for alternate transportation, even though the law requires them to do so. The law is clear. If they cancel your flight, they either have to rebook you on a flight that departs within 9 hours of the original departure time on their own or partner airlines, or they have to buy you a ticket on a competitor airline. That's for preemptive cancellations. When a cancellation takes place before the strike, they also owe you meals, accommodation, and lump sum compensation up to $1,000. This email is trying to convince you to take a refund, let me repeat, is a fraud. It's a scam. Don't fall for it. You do have the right as a passenger to alternate transportation on any carrier if Air Canada cannot find you a flight on their own network.
But if a strike does happen tomorrow, it's uncertain what kind of protections passengers will have after that, because the airline is saying that they can only protect you if they have control, but they say this is completely out of their control.
No, that's not what the law says. That's actually incorrect. Even if there is a strike, which paradoxically in Canada deemed to be outside a carrier's control, in Europe it is not so, but even if it is, say, weather, the airline still has an obligation to rebook passengers on competitors' airlines' flights if they cannot rebook you on their own network. And I've just seen this type of scenarios where Air Canada is sending a passenger an email saying, sorry, we have no flights for 3 days before or after your flight date at all, among all our 120 airlines we scanned. And then I go to Google Flights and just find more than a dozen different options for the passenger. Another passenger who just posted in our Facebook group is telling me that Air Canada told them they had no other flights for them coming back from the UK to Canada, and they were able to find more expensive flights, but they were able to find those. So beware, Air Canada is trying to scam you. They are not acting in good faith. They're acting fraudulently with the intent to deceive you of your right to get back to Canada, and with the intent to save substantial amount of money by not paying for your alternate transportation back to Canada, but forcing you or making you believe that you have to take a refund. You don't have to take a refund. Don't take a refund. If they refuse to rebook you as required by the law, just buy yourself a ticket after you receive such an email. And the fact that you're able to buy a different airline's ticket to get home proves that Air Canada acted improperly, and they will have to pay for your alternate transportation if they fail to rebook you. If necessary, take them to small claims court. This may well end up being a bunch of class actions, because it seems that Air Canada, although they are paying lip service to the obligation to rebook passengers on competitor airlines, they are not doing it in practice. Again, this type of messages, in many cases, I believe, are disingenuous. There are flights of other airlines, just Air Canada doesn't want to pay for them, even though the law says they have to.
What other messages do you have for passengers, either here at home who had plans to leave, or those who are already at their destination but now aren't sure about when and how they'll get back home?
Don't be a pushover. Don't believe what Air Canada is telling you. Make sure that if they tell you there are no other flights, you don't take a refund. Buy yourself a ticket for whatever destination you need. Keep your receipts, keep your expenses, and once you're done traveling, make Air Canada pay for it. This situation is not going to change unless we collectively as passengers are willing to hold Air Canada accountable for this type of fraudulent conduct.
Gabor, thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Get ready for the ultimate hoops showdown at Canada Life Centre. We're giving you a chance to score 4 tickets to the thrilling CEBL Championship weekend featuring the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Catch all the action starting August 22nd with an epic conference finals doubleheader at 7:30 p.m. plus the nail-biting championship final on Sunday, August 24th at 6 p.m. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Friday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CTV Morning Live. We know that bees and pollinators around the world really are in trouble, and some even here in Manitoba are seeing large declines in numbers because of disease, as well as insecticides and many other factors. So we're going to find out what you could do in your community, your own backyard, to protect bees and pollinators to ensure that they make it through this season. But first, your headlines. 50 years after its doors closed, the Government of Canada and Long Plain First Nation commemorate a former residential school. Plus, China imposes new tariffs on Canadian canola. Will it escalate an already year-long trade dispute? And big hair, big hooves, and lots of cuddling potential. The Toronto Zoo welcomes 2 Highland cows. Can't see their eyeballs.
Oh my goodness, that's how I feel some days on the roof when the wind is blowing around.
No kidding. But no wind today? Or
oh no, there's a breeze today. I'm battling that hair up there. Certainly. Not mad about it though. A little bit of a breeze and plenty of sunshine. Oh, it looks good out there this morning. 13 degrees is where we're sitting right now with southwest winds. They say they're on the lighter side. They're stronger than that, I promise you, at least in the downtown area. Anyway, that's the reading out at the airport of just 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 89%, and those winds are expected to increase throughout the day today. So it will get a little bit breezy. Plenty of sunshine, though, like I said, all across central and southern Manitoba. Things are looking clear. Not the case through northern Manitoba. Along with the clouds, there's still more rain, especially in the northeast. It might linger a little bit longer. Areas along that western border might begin to see some clearing later on into the day, and then more actual clearing in the overnight. And for tomorrow, you're getting back to the sunshine again. We too will enjoy sunny conditions throughout Saturday. There you can see, but here's a look at what's still to come. Another round of rain, maybe some storms, and that could be for later on into the weekend across northern Manitoba. Here in the south, we're probably not going to be seeing much of that at all. Instead, temperatures just on the rise as we continue through the weekend, and more so for next week. The next couple of days, a little below seasonal. 25 is normal, but the real heat is coming as we look ahead to next week. And thank you to Avery, 10 years old, for drawing this one. Some lightning, a little bit of a storm happening here. That's what yesterday looked like out there. We'd love to see your art, so please draw, color, or paint for us. Send that art to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. 50 years after it closed, the Government of Canada and Long Plain First Nation are honoring the historic significance of the former Portage-la-Prairie Indian Residential School. On Thursday, St. Boniface, St. Vital, MP Ginette Lavac and Long Plain First Nation leaders held a special ceremony to unveil 3 plaques recognizing the historical significance of the former residential school. Opened in 1915, the building is a rare surviving example of residential schools which were established across Canada. The residential school system removed Indigenous children from their families and communities, denying them their traditions, language, and culture. Many children were harmed and even died at the school.
It serves as a powerful, immersive memorial that honors those who endured the residential school system, safeguarding their stories, supporting survivors and their communities, educating visitors on the impacts of the residential schools.
The school closed in 1975. Today, it's the home of the National Indigenous Residential School Museum of Canada. A Chinese tariff on Canadian canola seed is now in effect, leaving many farmers feeling uncertain about the future.
Should look at ways we can penalize the regime in Beijing for targeting our farmers.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling for retaliation, while a statement from Prime Minister Mark Carney says his Liberal government plans to advance constructive dialogue with Chinese officials while diversifying trade abroad. China, which sources nearly all of its supplies of canola from Canada, announced preliminary anti-dumping duties on canola imports on Tuesday, escalating a year-long trade dispute that began with Ottawa's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicle imports. There will be a review of the referendum question that will be posed to Albertans on whether to separate from Canada. The proposed question asks, do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province in Canada? On Thursday, a judge said it will benefit democracy for the question to be scrutinized. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith did not want the question to go to a hearing, instead saying it should only be reviewed if it wins a majority vote in a referendum. The Toronto Zoo is showing off its newest residents, a pair of Highland cows.
Definitely like their fur. They look kind of silly with all their hair and stuff. Their horns too, they're really cool.
This pair is from Ontario, but their lineage can be tracked back to Scotland. Zoo officials say the brothers don't have names yet. Some guests were treated to a sneak peek this week. Starting this weekend, the Highland cows will be visible to all zoo guests. Here's a look at what's going on outside at Kenniston and Sterling Lyon. It looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. Smooth driving so far.
CTV Morning Live traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
We've been waking up to the beat of the Brazilian drum all morning long with our Ainsley McPhail, who's telling us about Folklorama. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. That last show that they have here, before the late night parties at 9:45. You're going to want to get your tickets before, because a lot of these shows, they're selling out. Aldo joins us now to tell us all about it and really give us a bit of a demonstration. So you had me on camera doing the tap, but let's first talk about the drum itself, because you've got a lot of percussion here.
Yes. So this is a very important drum for samba. It's called hipinique. This is the instrument that does all the call, all the variation for the other instrument to come in and join the samba, the drum, the rhythm all together.
Mm-hmm. So you must really, as a spectator, you must be really feeling that when you're watching. How many drums do you have going at one time?
We have actually pretty much everything over here. Like, let's say 5, maybe 10.
It's loud, so it's loud. That's what you're trying to say. When it comes to the combination of music, you have the samba. What else is available? How does it all work when it comes to this combination of tunes?
In Brazilian music, Brazilian rhythm, the most important thing is for the drummers, for the musician to listen to each other, to be in sync, right? To be focused, and then we all, like, slowly, one instrument comes after the other, and then we start building it.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to Folklorama, you do plenty of shows, 25 of them. What's the feedback been so far from the audiences?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love the show.
Okay,
yeah.
You're going to teach me some moves?
Oh, yeah.
He did teach me a few off camera, so maybe we should just get started?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
okay. Yeah. I'll get you to hold it.
Yeah. So,
hit it.
Right here.
Looks like she needs some practice. All right, thank you, Ainsley. A call for justice, decades in the making. According to a new class action lawsuit, hundreds of patients were subjected to mind-altering drugs and brainwashing experiments, all on Canadian soil. And a Winnipeg senior, one of the last living survivors, says the time for an apology is now. Danielle Homerson has her harrowing story.
They shot something into my arm, and then I wondered what is going on, because when it was in me, I felt really funny. I was scared.
Lana Ponting was just 16 years old when she was hospitalized at Montreal's Allen Memorial Institute on the campus of McGill University. She was admitted by her parents to the psychiatric hospital in 1958 after she ran away from home several times.
I had behavior problems like any normal teenager, and I guess they thought putting me into the Allen would help me and help them.
The now 84-year-old who lives in Winnipeg spent a month under the care of psychiatrist Ewan Cameron.
I've been sick all my life because of what they did to me, and sometimes I wake up in the night and I'm screaming.
Unknowingly, Ponting was a part of the infamous MK-Ultra program, a Cold War-era CIA project partially funded by the Canadian government. Ponting says she was forced to take drugs like LSD and subjected to a series of mind control and brainwashing experiments.
We were never given consent. They just did what they wanted to us. We were guinea pigs.
In late July, a Quebec Superior Court judge authorized a class action lawsuit against McGill University, Montreal's Royal Victoria Hospital, and the Government of Canada. Ponting is a representative plaintiff in the suit, which alleges hundreds of patients like her were subjected to experiments and not even aware of it.
What scares you more, what you can remember or what you don't know that happened?
What I don't remember. What did they do?
Ponting says Ottawa needs to apologize for the harms done, and the lawsuit is seeking compensation.
I don't look at myself as a hero. I look at myself as an 84-year-old woman who will talk. I will not shut up for anyone.
Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
McGill University and the federal government didn't respond to requests seeking comment on the lawsuit.
All right, looking through the Bathfitter Live Eye now. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Beautiful, clear, blue sky, plenty of sunshine to kick off your Friday morning. It's going to be looking good all weekend long. It's starting to feel a little bit better out there, too. From 13 degrees last hour, we gained a couple. Now sitting at 15 here in Winnipeg with similar temps through the southeast. Mid-teens for the most part. Looking off through southwestern Manitoba, it is a little bit cooler, but most places are now up into the double digits at least. Roblin's still slagging along at 9 degrees right now. Also still seeing some of those single digits across northern Manitoba where the temperatures will remain a little bit cool and the conditions a little bit soggy. While we're seeing all of the sunshine here in the south for northern Manitoba, another rain day for you. The precipitation doesn't show on our satellite image, but you can see the extra clouds, whereas there's not even clouds for us here in the south. Nothing but sunshine to kick things off. And as we watch the temperatures rise today, everybody is likely to be a little bit below seasonal. By midday, high teens, some might get to 20 degrees, but northern Manitoba, look at this, still in the single digits by midday, maybe pushing up into the double digits, low to mid-teens across the north, and low 20s here across southern Manitoba when 25 is in fact normal for this time of year. But we'll get there by Sunday, probably. Here's a look at the next couple of days where we stay just shy of what is normal for this time of year, then back up to seasonal, and then soaring beyond. We've got some heat coming our way next week, and nothing but sunshine to carry us there, so it will be getting warmer for those of you that aren't loving the cooler temps. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning, it's 8:14. The average price of a new car in Canada is more than $66,000. With current trade tensions, there are concerns it could increase. Financing a purchase can also lead it to cost substantially more, depending on interest rates. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
Marva Ebo of Bolton bought this 2016 Mazda SUV 3 years ago. Unfortunately, when she got a loan, she had credit issues. She borrowed just over $40,000 for the vehicle over 6 years. At almost 13% interest, the cost of borrowing is more than $17,000.
They approved me, but with a very high interest rate.
After paying $800 a month for the past 3 years, she still owes about $30,000 for the car, even though it's worth less than half that.
It's really, really frustrating, and I just reach a point now I don't know what to do.
Even if you have good credit, a recent survey found the total cost of car ownership in Canada is almost $1,400 a month. When you have bad credit, it's a lot more than that.
The data is showing that negative equity in car loans is now higher than it's ever been before.
Car Help Canada says anyone with poor credit or who has declared bankruptcy can end up with never-ending car payments.
The interest cost, the cost of financing ends up being so incredibly high that it quickly drowns them in debt.
It's important to maintain a good credit rating to avoid having to take out loans with high interest lenders.
If you miss just one payment, regardless of what that amount is, it can have a very real impact on your credit score.
I do need a car. I just can't afford $800 a month.
For anyone stuck in a high-interest loan, you could refinance, sell your car, or trade it in for something more affordable. Car Help Canada suggests paying it off as quickly as you can.
There's no easy way out of it. You just have to pay down the debt as quickly as you can, pay off the vehicle, and just hold on to it.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Climate change, insecticides, and disease are hurting population numbers of many different pollinators in Manitoba. Pollinators are essential in our ecosystem, and there are things we can do in our cities, towns, and even backyards to protect and even help bees and other pollinators. Joining us now to tell us how we can help is the director of Bees Please, Renee Hayes. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, tell us about your organization, Bees Please. What do you do there?
So we specialize in pollinator-friendly yards, so finding ways to do landscaping in ways that are not harmful to pollinator populations. There's ways to do that without using agrochemicals and in ways that protect the habitats of our tiny relations that are currently imperiled due to those due to climate change, agrochemicals, and habitat loss. Some of which we can't always solve as a single person, but the habitat loss piece we can try to tackle by replacing either invasive or less helpful plants with native and pollinator-friendly plants.
So why was this important to you? Why did you start all of this?
We started this because it arose out of a need that was kind of unmet in the community, because there was currently no landscapers with a focus specifically on pollinator-friendly yards. Someone I knew wanted to put in a clover lawn, and we couldn't find anyone to do it for them, so we as such kind of realized there was a real a gap in the market and in the services being offered for people that maybe want to go in a different direction.
There are plants out there that could be harmful, right, to pollinators and bees?
Correct. So the three main categories we kind of deal with are native plants, the ones that have been here for thousands of years. Then there's plants that are not from here, some of which are naturalized into the environment and keep replicating, not all of which are harmful, but the ones that kind of take over and continue to take too much area up and are harmful to, some of them even change the soil composition so that other native plants can't grow. Those would be invasive plants, and those are the ones we really have to try to tackle and remove.
What would be an example of an invasive plant that you don't want?
Probably the one that people would recognize the easiest would be creeping bell. It's in all the gardening groups, people really have a hard time getting rid of that one. It is very prolific, but we've found ways to use native plants that are appropriate to actually hold it back and or replace it. So it's sort of kind of using what's been here for thousands of years in a correct manner to solve problems without having to use sprays and things like that.
Okay, so some people might be, landscaping their yard, and they think the creeping bell, for example, is beautiful, and they think it's a good thing, but they might not realize that it could be harmful, right?
So the idea is that while you might see some pollinators in these plants, they're not necessarily getting the maximum nutrition out of them.
Okay.
And so if those spaces if huge spaces are taken over by invasive plants, then they can't find those biologically appropriate sources of food and shelter that they can recognize. So that's the importance of trying to remove those invasives and replace them with plants that these local pollinators have evolved alongside and can recognize.
So we're almost out of time already, but give me an example of a plant you do want in your backyard.
Purple coneflower, echinacea seems to be a really, really popular one. Blazing star is really good. And milkweeds are also very important for our monarch butterfly populations. Yeah, those would be some
really great advice. So if somebody needs some help, they could just contact you directly and you can guide them in the right direction.
Absolutely. And we also offer 3D renderings and like long-term planning if people are looking to kind of do this over several phases and get their space to where they want it to be.
That sounds great. And the pollinators will love you for it as well. Thank you so much for this, Renee.
Thank you.
Yeah, pollinators will also love it if you keep your flowers looking good, I'll tell you that. And my goodness, mine sure are, after all that rain that we got. 15 degrees, but now I'm going to have to keep them watered on my own because Mother Nature looking clear and dry throughout the weekend and well throughout next week. 15 is a pleasant temperature right now. You can still crack a window and enjoy some of that fresh, clean air. No smoke out here this morning and just a slight bit of a breeze. 70k winds out of the southwest this morning. Pressure rising. The humidity sitting at 80%. And yes, blue sky and sunshine all across southern and central Manitoba. For northern Manitoba, you've got another round of rain today. Again, with the fire situation that's been happening across northern Manitoba, another good solid soaking wouldn't necessarily be bad, especially because you will get back to that sunshine for tomorrow. Saturday is looking a little clearer and brighter right across the entire province. Still a little bit cool though, with these below seasonal temperatures carrying us into the start of the weekend. I'm talking low 20s when mid 20s, 25. That's normal for this time of year here in Winnipeg, but we'll get there by Sunday, and then next week a little more warmth or even some more heat coming our way again. Beautiful shot of the sun setting out at the Low Farm. Thanks to Tina for sharing this with us. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Happening now, U.S. President Donald Trump is now departing for Alaska at any moment for a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump has boarded Air Force One ahead of today's meeting in Alaska. He has posted online this morning summing up what many are saying about this meeting: high stakes. For more at What's at Stake, here's CTV's Rachel Aiello.
Final preparations are underway in Alaska at the U.S. military base where the high-stakes summit aimed at ending the war in Ukraine is taking place.
I want to see if I can stop the killing.
U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will sit down face-to-face. Putin called Trump's efforts to stop hostilities energetic and sincere, though Trump tempered expectations.
I'll know within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes, like we tend to find out whether or not we're going to have a good meeting or a bad meeting. And if it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky won't be in Anchorage, but Trump said he's keen to convene a second summit with the three of them and perhaps other European leaders very quickly after.
I'd like to see it actually happen, maybe in Alaska.
Zelensky met with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and the pair emerged optimistic about the chance for peace, so long as Putin agrees to a ceasefire deal that protects Ukraine's territorial integrity.
If President Trump somehow manages to cajole that out of them, that will be the best possible outcome.
Asked if he thinks the summit and the incentives for peace being put on the table could end up rewarding the Russians for invading Ukraine, Trump said no. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Good morning. Manitoba canola farmers who export to China are facing a 75.8% tariff. The Chinese government kicked in the higher duty yesterday. The move comes nearly a year after Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. Joining us now is Warren Ellis from the Manitoba Canola Growers Association. Good morning, Warren.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, you've been farming canola since the 1970s. Tell us about your farming operation.
Well, we've got a small farm just north of Wawanesa. It's a mixed farm where we're growing multiple crops, and canola is one of the very important ones.
And so how much canola does Manitoba produce and export to China, would you say?
Well, we produce about 3 million tons. And of course, the actual amount that goes to China is a little harder to say because it's selected from right across Canada. But we produce about 3 million tons. And Canada sells 5 to 6 million tons to China every year.
Wow. So what are canola producers saying right now about this 75.8% export tariff from China?
Well, they're kind of gobsmacked, quite frankly. It's they're not sure just what the effect is going to be. And really, it's quite a hit.
And so what are they doing at this point in response to this?
Well, the Manitoba farmers themselves are getting ready to harvest. So they don't, farmers don't have time to deal with this right now. But as the Manitoba canola growers, we're working with our partners in, our federal partners, the Canadian canola growers and Canola Council of Canada, working with them, talking to the federal government, trying to work our way through this. And also we're talking to our provincial government, Premier Canoe, and with CAP, Keystone Agri Producers, working with them as well. So we're very, very busy on this, but it's a tough hit.
Yeah, and Premier Wabkinew is hoping the federal government will kick in some funds to support canola farmers. What are your thoughts on that, and is it enough?
Well, we would rather just earn the money, the normal way of selling canola than that. But given that we have a pretty extreme situation here, I think quite likely we will need some sort of compensation just to keep us going.
Is there a chance as well to transition into another market at this point, or is it too late in the season?
Well, I think it's too Manitoba canola. Our Manitoba canola industry is constantly looking for new markets as a way to expand the business of the whole industry. But that doesn't happen overnight, and so a hit like this will not be absorbed. It'll be we could end up with a lot of grain, a lot of canola sitting in grain bins by the end of the year.
And how long can it sit in those grain bins?
Well, that is a tough question, because the canola is well known in the farming community for spoiling and actually losing the entire crop. So it's a very dangerous project or product to store. And it takes a lot of management on the farmers to make sure it doesn't lose condition.
Absolutely. Well, we're rooting for you and we're thinking of you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Warren.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you're still driving by. You can see the yellow in those fields. It's beautiful to look at, but
it is beautiful to look at. But yeah, absolutely.
So
we think of the farmers often, right? And all they do for us. So thank you.
Yes.
And good luck.
Absolutely.
Hoping for the best, certainly. I mean, Mother Nature, we'll see what she's dishing up. Right now, it's sunshine, and that's looking good over Winnipeg, certainly. 15 degrees right now with southwest winds 17 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 80%. We got that rain yesterday. Oh my goodness, those storms yesterday morning were sure something else. And then when I got up from my nap in the afternoon, we were under a thunderstorm watch here in Winnipeg. Didn't amount to too much. There were even though some tornado warnings issued. No funnel cloud sightings, according to Environment Canada, but in the Powerview Pine Falls area, just a little bit to the east of Lake Winnipeg there, ping pong ball and tennis ball size hail. Tennis ball size hail, that's shocking. Anyway, that's what you saw in that area. Now, nothing to show you here. It's very clear, especially through the south and central Manitoba. Mainly sunny conditions are expected for us today, and a bit of a breeze increasing, at times up to 40 clicks with winds out of the west. Now, while we're enjoying all of that sunshine, northern Manitoba is still in for another round of rain, but overnight things should start to clear even up north and getting back to the sunshine for tomorrow. We're dropping down to 12 degrees here in Winnipeg overnight with those winds tapering off out of the northeast, so they'll shift slightly. Still out of the northeast tomorrow, back to the sunshine again, and 22 degrees. So today and tomorrow, just a little bit off the mark of seasonal. 25, that's normal for this time of year. We'll get back there on Sunday and then watch those temperatures rise as we look ahead throughout next week.
Thank you, Terry. Manitoba Hydro crews are working to repair fire-damaged infrastructure and restore power in several northern Manitoba communities. Manitoba Hydro says so far this year, wildfires have damaged or destroyed more than 1,200 poles, along with lines and transformers. Some damage is only now being discovered, including about 100 more poles found during an aerial survey this week along a 75-kilometer stretch between Leaf Rapids and South Indian Lake. Hydro says crews have already replaced or repaired about 500 poles this wildfire season, often in remote, hard-to-reach areas where smoke and weather can delay work. Right now, about 1,300 customers in 5 communities remain without power, and there's no word yet on when service will be restored. Hydro says more updates will be provided. Community advocates and police are asking for your help to identify an Indigenous woman who was found dead at a Winnipeg hotel 1 year ago. This is a composite sketch of the woman who was found at the Man Wynn Hotel on August 10th, 2024. Officials say she was between 25 and 40 years old, 5 feet 7 inches tall, with black hair and brown eyes, and had no upper teeth. She also had some small tattoos on her hand and wrist and a metal plate on her collarbone, which investigators say would have been visible through her skin. Police emphasize this isn't a criminal investigation and no foul play is suspected. However, they're hoping to bring closure to her loved ones.
Look closely and consider anyone who might match that description. We need your help. If you know something, anything, do not be silent.
Anyone with information is being asked to contact the Missing Persons Unit, Crime Stoppers, or community organizations such as Mamawe Ichitata Center. Ontario Premier Doug Ford lashed out at Campbell Soup Thursday, accusing the company of misleading Canadian consumers.
You think the people of Ontario are that dumb? Like, I'm gonna call you out. I'm getting one of those cans. I'm gonna rip that label off and encourage people to buy made in Ontario, made in Canada soup.
Ford is referring to the designed in Canada printed on some Campbell Soup labels, despite the fact that they're manufactured in New Jersey. The company says the design was first added in 2018 but phased out and is no longer in production. An agreement has not been reached on a plastic pollution treaty in Geneva. Delegates from 183 countries had been meeting at the United Nations office to try and complete a landmark treaty. Following more than a week of negotiations, they remain deadlocked on whether to put global and binding controls on toxic chemicals used to make plastics. The committee agreed to resume negotiations at a later date. Canada's submarine fleet will be obsolete in about a decade, and the country's top naval commander wants a decision on who will supply the next generation of subs by the end of the year. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Only one of Canada's submarines is surveilling the deep seas. The other 3 subs under maintenance, making it difficult to meet military obligations.
It means that we've got 3 oceans to defend and we have 1 that we can cover. And because we've struggled to get these submarines operational.
All of Canada's submarines were built in the 1980s and will be too old in a decade. The Navy says it requires 12 new conventional diesel-electric powered submarines in order to effectively patrol the oceans and train its officers. Companies from France, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, and a joint venture from Germany and Norway say they can meet those requirements.
Submarine will be docking in 1 minute.
The government plans to decide on a supplier by 2028, but the Navy's top commander wants the timeline moved up by 2 years.
I'd like a short list even sooner than that, and I'd like a decision by the end of the year. I think we can get, it's going to be a lot of work.
The most ambitious pitch came from a South Korean company, Hanwha, which already has vessels in production, says it can deliver the first submarine to Canada by 2032 and 1 per year after that.
We produce ships and submarines at 40 plus ships and submarines a year. We believe that as we're already producing these are the same submarines that are in use operating right now with the Korean Navy.
But the federal government is looking for more than just speed. The deal will be leveraged to boost the economy.
The lowering of trade barriers, access to markets, commitments to invest in Canada. It could be based on the final decision could be based on a whole lot of non-military factors.
Each submarine will cost about $2 billion to build. The U.S. is not a factor in this decision because it doesn't make conventional submarines, only nuclear ones. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Here's a look at what's happening in traffic along Portage at Polo Park. It looks like a smooth drive over here. No issues to tell you about. Now let's take a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.35. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.33. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
With the strike now looming, Air Canada passengers are scrambling to figure out their options. CTV's Adrian Gobriel looks at the fine print.
Labor stoppage or not, you should still be able to get off the ground, according to industry watchers.
If you already have an Air Canada ticket booked and paid for,
then Air Canada has to buy you a ticket.
In the case of an active strike, which is classified as outside an airline's control, large companies such as Air Canada are required by legislation to rebook customers on a new reservation for the next available flight that is operated by any carrier.
Any carrier means any airline, including but not limited to the airline's competitors.
On their website, Air Canada says customers whose flights are cancelled will be notified and they will be eligible for a full refund. Air passenger rights advocates are advising customers against accepting a reimbursement.
One important thing to remember is do not accept a refund. Refund can be a way for airlines to wash their hands from their obligations to rebook you.
If you don't have a ticket and are looking to book travel in or out of Canada over the next several days, you might be in for a shock. The cheapest round-trip ticket departing Toronto tomorrow and returning from Vancouver next Friday costs more than $1,300. The same week-long round-trip ticket leaving September 5th, returning September 12th, is going for as little as $273. It all comes down to supply and demand that influences strategic pricing by the airlines.
Last-minute ticket prices, which always tend to be higher, and a substantial sudden increase in demand that is pushing prices up due to what might be a strike at Air Canada.
Again, if your flight is canceled by Air Canada, they're obligated to purchase you another ticket to your destination. If they refuse, consumer advocates say you could purchase one yourself and flip Air Canada the bill. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
It's that time of year, and CTV and Chicken Chef want you to share how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your Manitoba summer magical, we want to see it. We've seen some amazing moments so far, and now it's your turn to shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates, and a gorgeous patio set from Windeck to elevate your outdoors. So what are you waiting for? Grab your phone and share your summer with us today. And it certainly feels, it looks like summer right now, Terry.
Yeah, it sure does. Blue sky above after all of that rain that fell yesterday. Remember yesterday morning, this thing filled up with almost 15 millimeters. And then even still, when I got up from my nap in the afternoon, we were under those thunderstorm watches. Nothing amounted to much here in Winnipeg, really nothing at all. But there were still some spectacular storms that rolled through parts of southeastern Manitoba. And I was just saying earlier that up around the Powerview, Pine Falls area, ping pong ball to tennis ball sized hail by yesterday evening. So that was kind of like round 2 of the storms yesterday. But now all of central and southern Manitoba, blue sky and sunshine to kick off your weekend. 15 degrees right now with 17K winds out of the southwest. Pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 80%. So yes, central and southern Manitoba, we are in the clear. Northern Manitoba, the rain's still falling for you. Heavier clouds and showers expected pretty much throughout the day today. I think I just took a bug in when I took that breath. Ugh. Anyway, for northern Manitoba, one more day of rain. That'll be clearing overnight, and through tomorrow, you're getting back to sunshine again. Great news, there are no smoke warnings throughout the entire province. And now a little bit of that precipitation that was much needed. That'll help the situation, hopefully, across northern Manitoba. And then to see some more sunshine over the weekend, and even temperatures on the rise. A little cool today and tomorrow, but back to seasonal by Sunday. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Brazilian Pavilion this morning. And we've been talking music. We've been seeing all kinds of demonstrations. Now we're going to talk food. Good morning.
Oh, the best for last? I'm not sure. And it is our last segment for Folklorama, so I hope you guys take advantage of all of the festivities going on this weekend. Amanda and Diana join us now to tell us all about the food. And wow, what a spread that we have here. The peas are a staple in Brazil, aren't they?
Yes, Brazilians eat beans and rice every day. I think we have to because it's packed with iron, have all the amino acids, it's protein rich. So we can have stamina to go for carnival for a whole week. So it's really good for you. So today we have the regular rice and beans that has pork sausage, and shout out to Manitoba pork. And we also have vegan rice and beans, because some people don't eat pork, right, or don't eat meat. We have some chicken skewers, which is like a very, very common Brazilian street food. You can find it every corner in every major Brazilian city. We have here cassava chips. I could talk about cassava for hours, but I'm going to be quick. Cassava is a technology from the First Nations peoples of South America. It just didn't grow there. It was developed throughout thousands of years, and it's the basis of Brazilian food. Throughout South America, it's potato and corn, but Brazil is cassava and corn. And last but not least, we have our desserts. We have four flavors of ice cream. And we have passion fruit, we have chocolate, and here we have mango and coconut. And both for all of them is delicious. Well, of course, I think all the food we're serving is delicious. We're having an amazing feedback from the Brazilian community and from all the people that's coming to our pavilion. They're enjoying the shows, they're enjoying the food. So come, you still have 2 days to come visit us.
And I will say, too, the aroma is delectable. Folklorama, too, there's late night shows that we want to tell you about. 11 o'clock, 9:45 show here. We also, on our website, have a whole bunch of photos that have highlighted the last couple of weeks. So they're quite popular. Take a look at that. And make sure you get your tickets as well to Folklorama for those shows, because you don't want to show up and find out that it's been sold out, unfortunately. The food looks delicious. Brazil is going to have tons for you to see tonight. So head to a link on our website for more details. Rochelle.
Thank you, Ainsley. It's hard to believe, but Manitoba students are going back to the classroom in just slightly over 2 weeks. All summer, kids' sleep routines have probably been later than usual. I know that's definitely the story at my house, but this is the time to consider easing them back to regular sleep schedules before back to school is officially upon us. Joining us now is pediatric sleep consultant Jolene Dilk-Sullen. Good morning, Jolene.
Good morning.
Well, thanks for joining us. Now, kids have had the summer off, staying up late, sleeping in the morning, but not for long, right?
No, we head back pretty soon. So, we want to start getting their bodies and their brains ready for that transition. So one of the best things we can do is start early. And that's great that we're talking about that today, because we don't want to be waiting right till the last second to all of a sudden start implementing routines. We want to slowly ease them into that transition. And us as parents too, we want to take that time just to get back into the swing of things.
So how do you do that? We're about just slightly over 2 weeks away from back to school. Is this the right time to do it, or do you wait a little later?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. This is the right time to do it, because like I said, you want to just have that gentle transition. And if your house is like my house, our routine has been pretty loose over the summer. Mm-hmm. So this would be the great thing is the first thing you can just start doing is having a little bit more structure to your day. Have meal times a little bit more set, around noon and around whatever time your dinner is going to be once school is back in session. So just start having some structure to your day, a really regular routine, and then also start moving that bedtime up a bit earlier. And again, we can do this gently and slowly because we have that time to work with. So 15 minutes earlier every few nights, that would be a great place to start. So having that daily structure and start moving your bedtime up a little bit earlier to get ready for school.
And of course, you should start the routine as well, which is brush your teeth at a certain time, maybe read a book to them by a certain time.
Yeah, a bedtime routine is a fantastic other tool to implement, and everybody is going to have, something different that works for their family, but anything that is calm and relaxing and helps their bodies just wind down from the day is great to have. So reading books together, listening to an audio, to a CD or audiobooks. Some kids like to do some bedtime yoga, doing a puzzle, something that's just quiet, low stimulus. We don't want to be putting the TVs on or screens. We want to shut that down 60 to 90 minutes before bedtime. So a bedtime routine that's just calm and relaxing is another great tool to have.
And what about the next morning? Should you wake them up earlier than they've been used to in the last few weeks?
Don't do that to yourself yet. If you don't have to, it's going to be rough no matter what. If we can just even get the bedtimes earlier, they will naturally start to wake up a little bit closer to their regular wake up time. The body and the brain is going to take that sleep that it needs and then start to regulate itself. If you have to get out of the house really early, you could start that 15-minute increment in the morning as well. But right now, I would be more concerned about just having a bedtime a little bit earlier, that routine, and keeping the environment really calm and soothing soothing, dark blinds, maybe white noise machine, cozy covers, those kind of things that just help them to settle to sleep earlier.
It's a good reminder as we are heading into that time of year. Well, thank you, Jolene, for sharing this with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's so hard to believe.
I love that bit of advice, though, right? Put them to bed early, sure. Yeah. But no need to get them up early, not yet. We don't need to be setting alarms, like unless there's a reason to get up. I will always say, and for me on the weekends, honestly, I can sleep like a teenager. I'm somebody that I can easily get a good 10, sometimes 11 hours sleep on the weekend. Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm jealous.
I mean, perhaps it speaks to the sleep deprivation that we go through every day of our lives. But yeah, the weekend rolls around and my gosh, I love nothing more than not setting an alarm.
That you lost.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. We've got such a beautiful weekend that I don't want to sleep through it. It is going to be beautiful and plenty of sunshine out there. We're starting out right now with 15 degrees. Well, actually, we started as low as 12, which is seasonal as far as temperatures go. Southwest winds, they're 17 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 80%. So we've gained a few degrees already, and we'll gain a few more through the day. Nothing shocking, though. Yesterday, we got up to 28 degrees. That was a warm one. Today won't be anywhere near that warm. It's still going to be a soggy one across northern Manitoba. You can see the clouds. Precipitation doesn't read on our satellite map, but you can see how few clouds we're waking up to here in Winnipeg. And much of southern Manitoba, more of the same, plenty of sunshine, and like I said, a little below seasonal for the next couple of days when 25 is in fact normal for this time of year. But for northern Manitoba, even cooler yet. I'm talking mid-teens with another day of rain. But even northern Manitoba, you're back to the sunshine for Saturday, and then we'll see things continuously warming up. Back to seasonal by Sunday, and for those of you that still want a little more blast of summertime heat, there you're going to get it with the mercury on the rise as we look further ahead into next week. So for those of you that don't like the heat, the next couple of days are looking good for you, and then yes, it's coming back again in a very big way by middle of next week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S-Antique Spa Salon.
We're going to say goodbye to this week with some fun video before we send you off. We kick things off with a catty Canadian cover band.
As a wise man, I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man.
Introducing Nickel Cat. These meowsicians are paying tribute to the band perfectly. They have everything you want in a band, lead singer or liquor in this case, guitar, keyboard, drums, and a dancer.
Okay, I didn't know what to expect when you teed this up, but this exceeded expectations.
Oh, they've got such rock attitude. Well, this canine has a comical way of eating a carrot. Check this out.
Carrot? Take.
Now you see it, now you don't. This Doberman silently sucked in his snack in a matter of seconds. His owner says carrots are his favorite and laughs every time he eats one. He's so funny.
One more time, come on.
Let's see this. It's gone.
Now you see it.
That's like this week. See you Monday.